Today I'm going to show you how to use the Ballistic calculator in the Revic Ops app. When you open up your app, you have the main screen, and you're going to hit the second tab down, Ballistic calculator. The first thing I do when I go to Ballistic calculator is check the drop-down arrow on the top left to make sure I'm on the correct rifle profile. If I click that drop-down arrow, it's going to give me my rifle library. Today we're shooting the 7mm, so I'm going to go ahead and click 7mm. Now this top portion of the Ballistic calculator is all your atmospherics. You have temperature, elevation, humidity, pressure. This is all pulling from the closest weather station, which is usually the closest airport. As long as you have your location services turned on your phone, it's going to pull that data every time you open up that app. Now in the center, you've got azimuth and angle. Those are going to be manually inputted. Azimuth is going to be the direction of fire, and angle is going to be the angle that you are shooting your target. Those are going to be manually inputted. Now if you come halfway down the screen, you've got BDC, elevation, windage. Those things are all going to change with the next row down. This is where I'm going to manually type stuff down. Range, wind speed, wind direction. So where it says range on the bottom left, 100 yards, I'm going to go ahead and click that and type in the range that I'm shooting. So let's say we're shooting 700 yards. Type in 700 and hit done. I can also use the drag function by putting my thumb on the numbers below the range and dragging up and down. So let's drag to 700. Now it says wind speed, 30 miles per hour from 275 degrees. I'm going to manually change that wind speed and direction to what it's doing at my location. So right now it's actually about 10 miles per hour from the 90 degrees, right to left. Now you can see it has changed the inputs under BDC, elevation, and windage. BDC is going to be your ballistic turret, what you would dial to for that range based on these atmospherics compared to what your BDC turret was cut for. So this target is 700 yards, but because the atmospherics are different now than where your turret was cut for, you're going to dial to 697, which would still be 700 yards in this instance. Elevation, where it says U standing for up, 12.8. So you can check your BDC turret and compare it to your MOA on your turret. So 12 3/4 MOA on your turret. And then it says windage right 2.9, basically meaning hold right 3 minutes for this type of wind at this range. Now something else I want to point out, on the bottom of the screen, bottom right, you've got this orange arrow icon. Go ahead and click that orange arrow. This is a cool feature where I can place my thumb on the thumbprint and I can drag that wind to the direction that it's blowing from, and then I can drag in and out to change that wind speed as well. Okay, so we're going to put it back to the 90 and put it back down to 10 miles an hour. If I want to get out of that wind vane function, I can hit the X right in the center. Next thing you're going to want to do is go to the top right. You've got a bullet icon, a chart or ballistic table icon, and a settings icon. If you hit the bullet icon, it's going to bring you to your rifle library or the profile manager, where you can manually change things in there if you want. If you hit the back button on the top left, it'll bring you back to the main screen, hit Ballistic calculator again, and now we can go up to the ballistic table. Go ahead and click Ballistic table. And now we can create a ballistic chart or data card. Go ahead and hit the top left again, back button, go to Ballistic calculator, and we're gonna go into the settings icon here. A side tab will appear, and now it's gonna say station manual. Since I changed wind speed and wind direction, it has changed to manual. If I click manual and I click weather again, I'm going to swipe over back to my Ballistic calculator. It has updated my data to what the weather is doing at the closest weather station. So again, I'll go to the top right, hit the settings button, click on weather. I'm going to change it back to manual. It's going to go back to the last input that I made. Then where it says adjustment unit, I can change from MOA to mils if I want. Unit, yards, or meters. Wind direction is absolute. I'm actually going to change that to relative. That's going to give me clock method on the bottom right for wind. It's always where the wind is coming from, and it's easier for me to think in clock method than it is in degrees. Speed scale, 40 miles per hour. You can change that from 10, 20, 30, or 40. That's just the max wind that you can input into your calculator. So it changes the sensitivity on how much you can scroll from 0 miles per hour up to 10, or 0 to 20, or 0 to 40, etc. I'm going to keep mine on 40 in case winds gust up to 30, 40 miles per hour. Then we've got earth, spin drift, and arrow jump. They're toggled off. I'm gonna go ahead and toggle all of those on because these are earth-based effects that I want on to give me the complete ballistic solution. Earth is gonna be your Coriolis. Spin drift is gonna be your bullet drifting to the right as it travels down range because of the right-hand twist. And then arrow jump is the vertical component to wind. So let's turn all those on so that we have a complete ballistic solution with all those effects added. When I swipe back to the left, I'm back to my ballistic calculator. And now I have a full ballistic solution with the wind speed and wind direction added in. Let's go ahead and just change it to 600 just so we get another look. Type in 600, hit done. And I'm gonna change that wind speed to 10 mile an hour. Done. From the 9 o'clock. At 600 yards with 10 mile an hour from the 9 o'clock, I would dial my BDC up to 614, elevation to 10.5 minutes. That would coincide. And then I'm gonna hold left 3 minutes. If you type in the range, the wind speed, wind direction all correctly, and you have the right atmospheric conditions inputted, you're gonna get rounds on target. And that's how you use the ballistic calculator on the Revic Ops app.